Welcome back to Desk Careers. I'm so excited to bring another amazing guest. Today we are meeting with Wisdom Mwandoe, who is the head chef of Harness Foods here at Dubai English Speaking College. Welcome, Wisdom. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm really excited to bring the face behind the food that we are loving right now at the college. And I know that you're the head chef. We want to talk all about what you do, how you come up with your ideas. But before we do that, I thought we could take you backwards in time to when you were a younger teenager and understand a little more about the younger Wisdom before he became this incredible chef today. So let's go backwards. When did you know that it was working in hospitality and being a chef? I know you wanted to be a lawyer when you were younger, but when did you know, no, not going into law, I want to be a chef?
So I would say when I was in the upper primary school back home, I started loving food, and then I'm the third born in our family, and I started cooking for my younger brothers and sisters, and I fell in love with the food. And then going to high school and college, going to high school, I knew, oh, instead of being a lawyer, I think food, since I love food and I've been watching all these food shows, and my dad has been in hospitality industry for a long time.
Yeah.
So I was keen of learning what he does, but he was in front of office side, front of house more than the back of house. So he was the food and beverage manager for the hotel. And I went in and started cooking. Just when I had holidays in school, I would go in and study cooking. That's when I developed my passion and passion for cooking.
You know, when I talk to students about going into the culinary arts or hospitality, they're always concerned about types of jobs that could be available to them, and they have an idea, but they don't really understand what exactly these different types of careers and occupations entail. What's it really like to be a chef? Take us through a typical day of being a chef and what young people don't know you do, but you do as a chef.
Okay, so being a chef like me, what I like most is trying to. I love the food. First of all, I love the food, and I like creating so many different elements of food. And for me personally, I love when people smile and they're joyful when they eat my food. That's when I develop more passion and do more research and learned more about the food production side. And I decided, okay, this is my career, and I loved it because the passion is there, and I do it every day. You know, I've never done any other career apart from cooking, and I was like, yeah, this is my thing. This is where I want to be. This is where I need to focus and put my foot down and say, okay, this is what I need to do because I love it. I love
Excellent.
cooking.
And I
Yeah.
can see that. I can see that passion coming from you. But I think what I want to know is tell us from morning until you go home at the end of your workday, what are some of the things that you do as a chef?
The things which I do as a chef is make sure that I have all my preparation ready for the next day and the days coming, and also just to make sure that I put the orders together. I talk to my suppliers, making sure that they have enough supplies for me for the whole week, and gauging by what people love. I gauge, okay, I tell my suppliers, okay, you need to have this on stock all the time so that I don't run out, so that I don't make my customers angry, or because that's what they love. So mostly is to plan. I plan a lot in terms of menu, which menu is coming the following week, the following day, the days to come. Do we have enough food to last us like tomorrow? And what foods can be kept? We use You can't also over order and under order as well, because you want your food to be fresh all the time. So the planning is the key for everything, for especially for a chef, from chopping to placing orders to preparation. So that's what I do mostly. That's my main role, is to make sure that this is done correctly. First of all, you have your order rights and you have all you need for the food to be prepared. And then you have the right team to execute the work as well and guide them. Yeah.
So I'm hearing lots of things that isn't really understood. I'm hearing that you have to be negotiating with your providers to make sure that what you're purchasing is fresh, it fits within your budget. You need to be planning ahead. So your time management skills, your planning skills, you need to be talking to your team so that they're aware of what is to come. You're also looking at the menu. So I'm imagining that you're also creatively thinking about, well, what can we be making in the next week or tomorrow to make sure that our customers are happy, that we're giving them what they want, and also adding a little something extra to make sure that we're always moving forward. I think what's really exciting about being a chef when we look at it from the outside is what we see on TV or on social media, and they always make a chef look so aggressive. Is it always really like that? Is it like that in the kitchen? Is a chef as aggressive as we see on TV, or do they overplay it?
I would say they overplay it. It's not as aggressive as people see on the TV. It's just the planning. Once you plan everything according to how you want it to be, and you're supporting your team, you're working together with them, they'll give you what you need to produce. That's the key. Planning and execution, working together with them, that's the most important thing.
So would you say that your career as a chef is both exciting but can also be very high pressured?
Yes, it can be very high pressured if you're not ready and if you don't have the right people to work with.
So how does a chef find the right people? What are some of the tips that you have for somebody watching this and thinking, well, how do you know that you have the right people on your team?
So one thing I do before I work with the team is interview them. When you interview them, you see their passion, and then we go into practical because this is a practical job mostly than just a way of talking. So you get them into the kitchen, you see how they prepare the things. Are they doing according to the standard, the hygiene standards, and how fast are they in executing the time management in executing the dishes they're making? And can they use their common sense and say, okay, can they do two? Can they multitask and do maybe three things at the same time? If I'm cutting onions for example, for butter chicken, do I have tomatoes ready to go for the same dish? Do I have, like, putting all these things together, all the ingredients together and managing the time? That's the key to this. So when you see a person is like that, you know, okay, this will fit into your requirements.
So much planning, so much thinking ahead, and also making sure that the team is the right people to be working with to make sure that customers are satisfied. Talk to us about what it's like to be a chef where your audience are predominantly students and members of an academic institution like that.
I would say the difference between me being a chef for so long in restaurants, in hotels, and now working in a college is it's new for me. But at the same time, as long as your food is good, everybody loves good food. Good food, affordable and healthy. That's what we stand for, and that's what we are every day doing more and more to achieve that goal. So that's exactly what we're trying to do. And I think in any institution, or would it be a college or any other institution, as long as you have those principles, you won't have a problem. As long as your food is good, it's on time, it's affordable, and it tastes good.
How does a chef for Harness Foods create the menu? I know that you said you want to keep your customers happy. But how do you sit down with your team and think, well, how do we know what teenagers are going to want to have, and what is the balance between maybe what our teenage audience want to eat and what we know is healthy for them to be eating?
So I reflect back to me being a teenager, what I really liked as a teenager, and combining that with the modern trends at the moment, and say, okay, this would be good for a kid, or this would be good for a teenager, for example, and focusing on what mostly I liked when I was a teenager. I put myself in their shoes and say, okay, what did I like mostly when I was a teenager, and trying to make that as healthy as possible and more affordable to the students and the audience which I'm serving at the moment. So that's how I come up with the creation of the food, what will work and what won't work. For example, I can't put a lot of spices in my food. I'll have a lot of waste, because most people at that age, I wouldn't eat spices as well. I would eat a bit of chili, but not too much. And seeing the demography of the school, I create the menu according to that and according to the age, what people like. I just reflect myself as me being a teenager. What would I want to be served or to be fed?
And would you say that children and teenagers are a more tricky clientele, or would you say that they are just as usual as any clients in a restaurant anywhere outside of an educational institution?
I would say 50-50. I say that they're not very much predictable, and also we've been here for over a month, but I've seen the trends. I've seen which food goes mostly and which food doesn't go most. And I would say the vegetable, to be honest, not every student likes vegetables unless you really make them really good. So
well,
that's what I'm trying.
A broccoli is always going to be a broccoli, but we have to put our harnessed food twist to it to make sure that our audience really, really likes it. Wisdom, I can ask you so many questions, but I know that we need to bring it to wrap. Just before we say goodbye, in all of your experience since arriving here and working in 2006, and here you are now working at Dubai English Speaking College with Harnessed Foods, what are your top 3 tips for any young student or any parents of a student thinking about helping their children, or students thinking about going into a career path such as yours to become a chef? What would your top 3 tips to them be?
My top 3 points would be, okay, being persistent and being calm, take your time and choose wisely. Follow your heart, don't force yourself into a career which you're guessing. That's what I would say.
Thank you so much, Wisdom. That was an incredible conversation. Thank you for sharing your career journey and for talking to us about what it's really like to be a chef. And that brings us to the end of another incredible conversation. Today we spoke with Wisdom Mwandoe, who is the head chef for Harnessed Foods here at Dubai English Speaking College. We'll see you all at our next Chef Careers Digital Spotlight.